Getting started here. Going to do some updates on some coins that we were looking at in the last live stream and a few requests here. But the first thing I was going to start out looking at was Bitcoin, because that seems to be the talk of the day. And just when you were about to give up on Bitcoin, it did something surprising, and I like that. And so going back to the daily chart, we were looking about this trend line right here, this little red one, just to kind of verify a breakout of that one before we considered the possibility of it breaking out of this big, humongous falling wedge there. So definitely we do have confirmation there. The only thing I don't like is I'm not seeing the volume I need. I need a big volume candle like this and a breakout like that for me to feel really gung-ho about it. And I'm not seeing it. So at first glance, it just kind of makes me think it's more sideways movement ahead. But in the short term, we got a chance, I believe, to get up just a little bit past 21,000 if it plays out right. Because if we come down to the smaller time frames, oh, and if we already got a breakout, maybe this little formation right here does qualify as a bull flag. And that has a measured move, which would take us up to this area right here. I've got marked about $21,286 right there. It looks like it's got the legs to pull that off. We've already broken out of that. Got some upward momentum here. Money flows flowing in on the 15-minute, the 1 hour, it's flowing in. Little pullback there on the 1 hour. 4 hours looking just a little kind of iffy because things are kind of topping out on the 4 hour. So I'm just kind of curious how this will actually play out, but it should be going up to this area. It looks like other indicators, Ichimoku Cloud, things like that, is kind of supporting that. So it looks like we might get another leg up for Bitcoin, and hopefully that would be helpful for the altcoins. Check out Bitcoin dominance real quick right here. Now Bitcoin dominance has fallen. And falling out of a bearish pattern here, so we're headed downward. Now that's great for altcoins, because when dominance is falling, altcoin values will be going up. However, in the short term, what we might be seeing, is probably a retest. So in the short term, the altcoins may not do that great, while Bitcoin maybe comes up to retest this line, or maybe it's just making a bear flag here and going straight down a little bit more. But on the chance that Bitcoin dominance would be moving back up, altcoins may suffer just a little bit. And we're kind of seeing that a little bit on some of them, right? And so that's one reason we're going to take a look at some of the coins that we looked at before. All right. So CD, what are you looking at in San Diego? What coin are you out? What's your favorite coin, the one you're looking at? Or a couple of them? One that I was quickly going to take a look at was where'd we go? Take a look at XDB on KuCoin against Tether there. And my last analysis on this, we were hoping that there was enough strength that we would get a bounce at this area right here. And if we did, that would be a good sign for a lot more upward movement. But we didn't. And what we did is we came back and retested our 0.5 Fibonacci level. We draw a Fibonacci retracement right up there to there. And that's broken just in the last hour or so, last couple of hours. Now we're moving down to the 618. Now this should be where we get a bounce. However, the thing that concerns me is that now we've kind of broken out of a trend line. And let me just straighten that out a little bit on this time frame. And what concerns me is that the measured move for breaking that trend line could possibly take us all the way back down here to the bottom of about 0.0042. When we were talking about this coin, it had just broken out of this area here, and it really struck me. And I got in on that. We came up to the measure move that we had, and I ended up taking profits and got back into it here. Took some more profits there, and then I started reaccumulating down through here. So now I'm in a little bit of drawdown. And it looks like we've got a good chance of coming down to this bottom area. Possibly. Unless we get a bounce here at the 618, which is it for a move up like this, an impulse move, that is common if we're going to see some more upside. But that's really the area to watch, is right at 0.0058 at 59, that area. If we can hold that, we got a good chance of at least coming up to do a retest. And if we do manage to come up, I might actually exit this coin at least at the 0.008, because when I'm looking at the larger time frames, I'm not seeing as much momentum as what I was seeing just a couple of days ago. And let me get this screen cleared out just a little bit, make a little bit more sense of it. And I'll explain why. The falling wedge that we got, now, when falling wedges are steep, they don't play out as well as, say, when they're more shallow. Those are the better ones to see play out. They have the most movement. So the steeper that they are, that's an indication that it may not make it up to these higher levels, at least not quickly. I do like that green showing on the Ichimoku, but that's not enough to convince me right now. There's still some bearish signs here that kind of make me think downward action. We may get a retest of these bottom areas before we start making it up. And we have broken that parabolic area. That was one of the things I was looking for and hinging on. If we could break back into that area, we would have a chance to definitely, you know, get a faster move up. And that didn't happen, so I'm not seeing a faster move come. However, I'm still accumulating in my accumulation zone, so that's according to my strategy. However, if it breaks below that, I may just have to suffer a little drawdown. Let me clean that up just a little bit there. All right, let's see, check out the chat here. Pretty brand new to all this. I'm currently trading on Forex with currencies. Wow. Now, I have not done that because, frankly, that looks hard. And especially right now, it looks a little bit hard or tricky. Do appreciate your streams and TA. Oh, thank you very much. Forex that actually scares me a little bit. I don't know. I've always pretty much been into the crypto side, but the analysis, you know, I mean, that's where a lot of our analysis comes from, is from Forex traders, or a lot of the people that we're teaching and things like that. That's where they got their start too. All right. So do I have anything else to say about DigitalBits other than being concerned that it comes down here? Not really. But someone did ask me for an update, and I hope that they catch this, because since we did break down from this pattern, I mean, logically, this is what happens, that we come down to the measured move. Now, it doesn't have to, and like I said, we are on the 618 Fibonacci. So the area that we're in right now is really where we need to look at for getting a bounce. And if that doesn't happen, expect more downside. Okay. The other coin that was requested, let's see, it said small moves and learning not to use leverage. Leverage will wreck you, man. Oh, leverage is rough. A lot of it comes into mindset and discipline when it comes to leverage, because you really got to be on your game there. So what I tell people, and what I try to practice myself, is to get good at the spot and then kind of move to leverage, because leverage just amplifies everything. So all those emotions that you feel when you're first starting out with spot trading, oh, is it, you know, I'm afraid it's not going to go up. You know, you're in your feelings a lot at those points. You throw leverage on it, those emotions are on steroids, and it's too much. Even for people spending the game, even for me sometimes, I mean, leverage will catch me out off guard. And if I'm not on top of it, it will whoop my butt. However, I do some margin trading with some smaller leverage, and I kind of do it for like longer swing terms. swing trades, things like that. I do it on KuCoin. It's not the perpetual swaps. Now that's more for fast action and things like that. But they do have some margin, like more like a traditional margin that you would get in stocks. And you can build an account on margin and use it wisely. And I've been doing that to accumulate Bitcoin, and that's been working out very well. Although it can spank your butt too if you don't control your risk. All right, so I think I'm done with DigitalBits there. And then other one someone asked me about was Trias, which has been really hot today, and that did not show up. Trias. Yeah, this one got really hot, didn't it? Just taking it on the daily here and see what we got. Nice formation. Not officially that breakout, though, we need. But it is getting heated. Come down to the 4-hour. It's making a nice little bull flag, and it could possibly break to the upside. And if it did, we would be looking somewhere around right here, $1.42. But my opinion, it would take a lot to do that. But does it have the legs to do it? It might. It is going to struggle up here at $1.18, $1.19. That's for sure. Let me just go ahead and draw my lines there. Symmetrical triangle. I'm not a big fan of those, because they can fool you. So Trias could possibly come up to $1.43 if this bigger structure right here actually plays out. And we've also got this range here about 119. And let's see. I guess everybody was looking at this on the 15-minute chart today, because I mean, this one did have a good move. Anybody got in it at the right time at the bottom? Oh, big 40% move there. That's nice. So if you had Trias and you were in somewhere around these ranges or below, or maybe even up to here, you're doing good. But if you're looking at getting into Trias, man, I would question that. So my rules of the game is when we get an impulse move like that, or something just goes crazy and starts throwing up these big green candles, once it starts to retrace, then I pull up a Fibonacci. And the earliest place that I really want to get in is at this halfway mark. And that's Dow theory, that when you get an impulse move, that they usually come back to the halfway mark. And so if I were looking to get in on this coin, this would be an area about just right at $1, just right over $1. And then, of course, the 618 area, that's where we can usually find a bounce if we have some more positive upward movement that's coming. If we start dropping below that, then it starts getting a little questionable. And we may need to reevaluate things. But what I like to do is also draw a trend line right there. And we got touches, 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 and it touches there. And so that's our basic market structure, and we've broken below it. So since this is a symmetrical triangle, and those to me are like rabbits in the middle of the road, and they can't make up their mind which side of the road they want to be on, so they just go everywhere. Generally how these play out, in my experience. Some people love them. I do not. I prefer not to trade them personally. But the biggest thing I'm looking at here is this line, where it's broken market structure. And that's my clue that more downward action, kind of what we just saw that also happened on the last one we looked at too. And you can see we got more downward action than even that I was expecting, or hoping for, rather. So what happens to these triangle patterns when they do break down out of those? Well, they start forming falling channels or falling wedges. So that's kind of what I expect to see out of this more than likely we touch these 2 points, do a little trend line magic there, we can get a feel about where we'll be headed. And looks like down to about the 99-cent range on this one possibly. Now these areas we could possibly catch a bounce. So it could do something like that, or even come down as far as the 618. But if it does make this formation of a falling wedge, then we do have a decent chance to actually make it up to the upside, up to about at least the 119 area on Trias. But overall, the indicators, 15-minute is shot, so it's getting ready to come down to these areas. 1 hour looks good, so this might actually be possible for that to play out as far as Trias goes. But I generally like to start with the bigger time frames and work my way down rather than to work my way up. And the bigger time frames, it's still got some more legs on my indicators. Stochastics are kind of pinned up here at the top, but we got some thick moves here on the momentum wave. Money flow is coming up, good sign. VWAP coming down, that could curve. Just have to keep an eye on that. If it drops below this line here, we're headed down. Anything else that stands out to me about this? No warning signs there. Okay. So with Trias, these two areas here, I would look at if you're trying to get in at about 95 cents or maybe at $1, and could see it retesting this area back up here about $1.19. If nothing else, we'll be retesting this trend line just right under whatever candle that it might be under. And it could be anywhere from 116 up to 119. If it breaks through that, we'd be looking at 143. All right. Lucy, hey, good to see you. Hello, Lane. I went to work today. I would have been still at work. When you get a chance, XRP and Luna C. Gotcha. All right. Before I do that, I'm going to just take a look at Quant real quick. Actually, the biggest thing that I wanted to touch on was Quant. Last time we did a live stream, someone mentioned that Etherscan on that had a different total supply for Quant, which was, that kind of threw me off hearing that. And so I had to do a little bit of digging around. The maximum supply for Quant is supposed to be about 14 million. And, you know, they came across this and brought this to my attention. And, you know, was not familiar with this, but I did some digging around. Turned out they did a token burn. So this is just incorrect information, some kind of trouble with Etherscan. They can't get that straightened out. There is an article on it, and I did throw up, first found it through a tweet, pointed me to some more information there. But there is an article right here at quantpedia.org. I don't think you can actually see that on my screen there, but that's where it's coming from, quantpedia.org. And they got all the information there. But yeah, they burned about 9.5 million tokens. Is that right? They brought the supply down to 14,612,000. So the information on it is right. It's just that Etherscan's just not caught up. So that was the biggest thing I wanted to go over with Quant. Analysis on that is still about the same. We're just kind of in a sideways motion on that. And let's see. And I sent a chat out and I forgot to hit enter on it, looks like. Let me go ahead and do that. Wow. Okay. So XRP. So how's your XRP trading going, Lucy? I am still mostly accumulating on this. That's XRP market cap. Oh, I got a messy screen. All right, let me get some of these lines off and look at those. That one can stay. Is it? Let me check out this pattern here. Is that a head and... That could technically be a head and shoulders pattern. With this being the neckline, we got left shoulder, head, right shoulder, coming up to retest this area here. But we got a little bit of green on the Ichimoku there. Not the greatest head and shoulders, but it technically would qualify with a wick coming down to make the head or the neckline, and candle closes there, complete it. The good sign is that it came back and bounced off of this. If it can get above 46.7, if we can get above 47 cents, I think we're good. But there is a chance. I mean, if this does not hold at 44 cents, this pattern may take over and we may get a big drop. Let's see, where would that take us? Back to 33.5 cents. I mean, I would definitely pick up some more there, but let's take another look at this. Okay, so that's a possibility. Let's see what else we got. So let's take a look at our wicks. And that's getting a little closer to a symmetrical triangle. When in doubt, always zoom out. You will get more information on the bigger time frames. And that's what we want to see. Right there. Let's get some candle closes. And this will give us a more accurate. All right. We've seen this before. So that's an opening broadening wedge. Never can remember how he's got these things sorted out. If I'm not mistaken, that's slightly bullish. Where you at? Do we have broadening? Broadening wedge. Not that one. Right angle and ascending. This guy. Yeah. All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we've seen it. Actually, yeah, I think we saw this before with, I believe it was XRP. This one has the 55 chance to break to the upside if it gets above this line. And that's what actually happened the last time that I saw this pattern. And I thought it was early on XRP. Must have been back down through here somewhere. But that definitely fits more. Let's take a look at the volume. Volume's declining. No, the volume would trend upward on that one, looks like. That's the pattern that I'm seeing that stands out the most. The head and shoulders is kind of weak, especially if we put it on. Yeah, especially if we put it on the larger time frame. The head and shoulders does not really have the legs. All right. It looks honestly to me like some more sideways motion. With the Ichimoku cloud right here getting a little thick, there is a chance to kind of come through it. It's kind of like a magnet that'll kind of draw price action down. But we did get a bounce off this bottom trend line. So what we hope to see is a bounce or just continued moving up to this target area right here, about 55 cents, but it looks like it might be a slow move. Let's see what we got going on. Haven't done anything since I re-entered at 46 a few weeks ago. Okay, well, let's see. Hey, did you take any profit around 53 cents or anything? I'm thinking I'll just sell everything next couple. Oh, if they go up and just wait till the bottom in November, December. Well, I mean, that's a plan. The only thing is we're not sure about the bottom. My strategy, if I were that, and there's some coins like the one we were looking at earlier, XDB, I'm planning on exiting out of that one. But like XRP, I mean, that's an option if it goes up to I definitely recoup some of your investment. But as far as trying to catch the bottoms and things, you know, if you're really into XRP or whatever coin you're in, you know, the dollar cost average strategy would definitely help out, and just trying to buy a little bit on the lows. But let's see, let's take a bigger look here. 4 hour was looking good. It does look like we will get a bounce here. If we can just break above that 46 cents there, we should have a chance of making it up to at least 52 and hopefully up to about 55. One hour is a little spent, but not bad, not bad. It looks like we might be getting a bull flag. Take a closer look at that. Could be, could be. So if it does break out of that, there's a possibility to come up to about 40, just right under 50 cents, or right under 49 cents, 48.8 cents. I'm not seeing any strong moves right now out of any of these coins. So we're just all trading sideways a little bit. Okay. Yeah, that's why if you're looking for an exit point and you said you got in about 46 cents, I'd say a strong possibility of us going back up to at least 50 cents, a little bit above that. But let's check out this weekly. And, well, a little mix there. I mean, it could... It might not be a bad plan. The weekly is starting to get a little tapped out. And so what I would see just here on the weekly, I mean, we got this line right here, this area right here to come back down to retest at some point. If we can't get above this area here on the weekly, the 49 cent area right there, if we can't make it above that in the next couple of weeks, it will definitely start coming back down, at least a 38 cent area to retest that, because that's a support resistance area. It would need to confirm that as a support resistance flip and then try to do the same thing back here. If we can go ahead and confirm this 46 cent area, if we can flip it and make that support, things look a lot better. But if we can't, then, you know, your plan sounds very feasible to me. You know, to take some profit or get out completely, whatever your choices are. There are some, you know, I'm on the weekly here. This is a few weeks ago. There's a lot of selling pressure there. There's actually some buy pressure right now, but things are getting a little bit slow on it. But I mean, everybody's situation is different, and they just got to do, you know, well, whatever's best for you. I would, okay, I should start getting ready to sell at 50-ish. I mean, if you want to get out and you want to get out in profit, that's, you know, that's not a bad idea. I don't like this formation here because it is very head and shoulderish kind of. That's a bearish pattern. But here's the biggest thing. I'm on the daily, and you see this yellow line right here. This is the make or break thing. this is the 200-day EMA, all right? Anytime an asset, and you're on the daily chart, if it is closing and opening above it, so if the price movement is above that line, you're golden, we're good. It's a bullish trend. So it would be worth staying in if we do that. But what you'll see is that we get rejected off of that, and that looks like what's happening now. So if we can't make it above that yellow line, which is at the same price points we were talking about before with the other things, so this just adds to the confluence just to reinforce all that. If we can't get above this 47-cent area and hold it, then yeah, I would expect more downward action. So that's what I would kind of just keep my eye on. So if it does get up to 50 cents, you know, we would be above that area. I mean, it would be possible to sell and it keep going up considering that. But I mean, it can wick above that area. So I would really look for a candle open and candle close above that area if you wanted to stay in. If not, that's the area I would look for rejection. And man, that'd be a hard call. That would be a hard call if you're trying to sell at 50, because that would be a bullish sign. If it were me, if it made it up to 50, I would give it a little bit more room to go. But maybe put stop losses in, at least at your break-even point. That would be one option. All right, and let's take a look at, are you halfway satisfied with that? Did I give you some decent answers? What am I doing? There we go. Let's see if we can get any more information out of this. Not really. Where it's at now, it's retraced on the move that it's on. I mean, it's at a point where it can definitely bounce, and it does look like it's in a bull flag. So I mean, it's got a chance to come up here to this area, at least about 49 cents. What I'm seeing. But if I were really trying to make a decision, I would go by the daily, that 200 moving average. I'll kind of let that guide me as to whether something was looking bullish or bearish. Let's see. Now, this thing keeps giving me market caps instead of the coin. Let's see. Luna C. So what exchange are you using, Lucy? It's been a while since I looked at this one. Okay, daily's a little iffy. Well, that works for me. So when you draw a trend line, especially, you know, when you get one from candle close, and I mean, make it touch on some other candle closes, you kind of get that angle there. And you'll see the angles play a lot into TA, and you'll find them everywhere. And so that's how you can see where your channels are. So it's amazing how they just kind of line up. But price will travel in a channel. And Terra Classics has broken out of this particular trend line. There's some other ways I can draw it, but this is the strongest. And so it does have an official breakout. And we're on the daily here. It's looking like it's trying to go a little bullish there. Let me check my RSI here. Okay. So we got a little bit of hidden bullish divergence there, because this line goes up and it slants down there. So yeah, we may get a bounce here. And just by eyeballing to 0.000337 in that area as a possible target short term. Now let's go down to some smaller time frames. Okay, straighten that out a little bit. It looks likely to actually get a bounce up. It looks like we've broken out. It may come back down to, you know, this line right here just to do a short retest. 4 hours starting to get up there just a little bit. It's still got some room to go in the 4 hour. Look on the shorter term here. So on the 1 hour, we need to see it get above this yellow line, the 200 EMA there. 0.00242 in that area. If we can get above that and keep it, it's going to be looking a lot better. It does look like the EMAs are trying to cross here. That's a good sign. If that blue one crosses above that white one, it'll be a go for a little while. And then when it goes above the yellow line, it will definitely be a go. Ichimoku showing some green there. That's good. Should have some upward movement. Seeing a lot of bull flags starting to form on some of these coins right now. And that would take us up to this area for a measured move. Should probably just go ahead and draw that out the way it's supposed to be. Depending on how you're looking at that. Okay. Check the chat again real quick. Okay, you bought at, there's a lot of zeros in this coin now. 00024 and looking for an exit. Okay. Well, the next measure move, 00025, that would give you a little bit. Is there a bigger move on the way? Because, I mean, since we just broke out of this big pattern, we should expect a pretty decent move of some sort from it. I would at least expect it to come up to right here. If not, it should want to gravitate toward this level here. This should be what we're seeing. We should see it slowly work its way up to the 618 area. And that's 0.00315. So anywhere in that 0.0031 area and up would be a good place to put some take profit areas. If you're asking me, that's what I would wait on. That's what I would expect it to do. Just from the big move that it's had down, it usually respects these Fibonacci areas. Because what it tries to do is make it up there, and then we see if it does make it past this point, then it's got more upside. If it doesn't, then we're looking for more downward action. And this is where everyone that shorts Luna C will be trying to short it, is right here in this area. So that's the profit area that I would be looking at personally. And that would give you a bigger, yeah, 0.00. Yeah, there or just a little bit under. I mean, not going exactly by the number. It's more of an area. Think of it more as an area than an actual number. But that looks like a pretty decent point if you're looking to exit. You're not leaving crypto, are you, Lucy? Because this is the best time to be in. I know it gets boring and it gets kind of wild or scary wild sometimes, but this is the best time to be in. All right, so let me mark that area right there. So let's put that as, why can't I see today? Take profit. And that one too. And that'll be the 0.000254. That will be the first take profit area that we come up to. These moving averages, the EMAs right there, those are always going to be targets for taking profit. So at 0.26, 3 zeros and 26, that would be, I would look for this one over this one right here, actually, even though that's a measured move from, I think, the smaller time frame on the flag that it's doing, the bull flag. It will gravitate up to here to retest this EMA before it actually makes a move to the downside. It will at least do that, and hopefully it'll have enough legs to go higher. So if I were looking for the minimum place to get out at the 2.6, but I would try to hold on to the higher targets up there. Okay, not leaving crypto. Good. I just bought XRP and Lucy, did a hype a few weeks ago for the first time. Yeah, you got to be careful about the hype. There's been a lot of hype over APTOS, and it looked interesting, and it actually had a nice formation that was tempting for me to get into, but it was just all the fundamentals that I've had about it that kept me out of it. And of course, it's went up and it's come down too. But they like to do that to these coins. Let me bring up APTOS real quick. So it was getting all the hype here in these areas. If I can draw, I look a lot smoother when I'm edited, right? Live stream, everything's just crazy, and I'm stumbling over my words and everything. This looked really appealing to me, and I was tempted, but when I find out who is behind all this, and it's just a bunch of venture capitalists, they get the first grabs, they buy all the tokens, and what do, they get a big ad campaign and marketing campaigns, and they just start throwing this stuff out there, and it may be a good platform, it may be just fine, but they're rushing all this and throwing it out there and just spinning it, and we get the hype train going, and it worked. That would have been a good trade, but who dumped on everybody right here? Who was selling? And there was a huge sell wall that I saw when I was looking at that, and I just don't like to be manipulated that way. But that was a good trade for the people that got in on it, and I don't. And that broke to the downside there. But it looks like the puppy's on its way down a little bit. I'm just not confident in APTOS, but that's one of the things, and I know that they like to hype up coins. There's another one, Lusco, I think, that I kept seeing mentioned in articles everywhere. People were getting out of Doge or getting out of Shiba to go into Luxo, and I'm like, man, these guys are desperate for from liquidity or something. But this guy here is coming down. Or it could bounce off the 618, which is what it's trying to do. But this pattern suggests that it would actually come down to about this area, about the 786, about $8.05 as a possibility, or it can come back to where it broke out of this pattern. But if it's really bullish, it'll take off from here. But that really doesn't fit into the TA that I'm seeing. I just started watching your school videos and trying to learn as soon as possible. Oh, great. I hope they help you. If anything's not clear, by all means, leave a comment and let me know, because I'm trying to make sure that I'm getting this information out there as clear as possible. I just want this available free for people just to come in, because it was hard for me to find this stuff. And, I ended up having to pay somebody to teach me this stuff. And it sounds great when they're spending all this stuff and come give me, this much money a month or whatever, and I'll show you how this works and everything. But when, you get there and it's like, you're just walking me through Investopedia articles, man. I could have done this on my own. This was all out there. I just paid you to make me watch these videos, man. You're just reading this right off the page to me. And it's what I needed. It helped me, but man, I way overpaid for an Investopedia article, you know? And all this stuff is out there, but it's easier if you do have a place that you can find it. And if it's in an order where, you know, presented where you can learn it. And that's what I hope to do. But I know when I was starting the channel and everything is really bumpy, so I'm not sure that I came across very clear on some of that stuff. So if it sounds confusing or something you don't understand, just reach out to me and I'll definitely take my time to address that and maybe redo a video. So I just want to sell them with profit next few days and invest in several ones that are good for swing trade. That's a good plan. Start watching your school videos. Really hope to quit a 9-to-5 rat race as soon as possible. I am with you there. That was the biggest blessing for me. It can seem like it's really far off, but you might be surprised, you know. And this is definitely a way to do it with crypto. And this is the best time to get in to do it. Now, they generally say it takes about 2 cycles to become a millionaire. And I guess that's probably right. This last cycle that we're on didn't bump me up to where I thought it would bump me up to. I didn't see all the gains, even though, you know, I mean, Bitcoin went crazy. A lot of these other things went crazy, but I think there's a ratio between this bull run and the last one. The last bull run seemed to have a little bit more profits with altcoins in my mind. And I wasn't really fully in on that bull run. That's kind of when I was still trying to figure this whole thing out. It really wasn't until 2020, about 2 years ago, when I finally learned technical analysis. But this has been the game changer. This is what's done it. This has made this, and then of course, you know, the trading side, managing your trades and learning, you know, your emotions. I would say that's the biggest thing, other than technical analysis to watch out for. But just learning some of this basic stuff here made all the difference. Because my problem was that, you know, and I would tell people, there was a girl I used to work with and she was into crypto. And I think, you know, here I am playing around with about maybe $1,200 at the most, because I'm just like, oh, $500 is most I want to put in on this. If I can't make that work, I don't want to put more. So I'm stuck at this level, and she's got an account like 25,000 or something, and I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, because every time I buy, the price goes down, and then when I sell, that price is turned around and goes right back up, and that was what was going on. And, you know, a lot of that was emotional trading and just not understanding price action. But technical analysis, totally turned that around. I do not have that problem anymore. Very rare. So how do you find which one to swing trade, and have you ever followed traders' signals? Have I ever followed traders' signals? I guess technically, because I was in a trading group, and what they will do, and you'll find other Telegram groups and things like that out there. There's a lot of them out there for free you can join. People do the same thing. It's basically the same thing. You're just paying for one, access to one, versus others that are free. And there are some free ones out there, like Natalie Bit Consensus. She has she teaches free online too, and she has a Telegram channel, and I've been in there a few times. Really good people, some knowledgeable people in there, and you'll see all different trading styles. But they'll throw up chart setups and things like that, and that we take that as a signal. Or some people can look at that as signals. I've never followed a signal group if they say like, oh, buy now and sell now or anything like that. No, I don't trust anybody for that. But if they throw up charts and things like that and give me a trade setup, that's what I would get out of the Telegram groups. And sometimes, you know, a lot of those would be good. Sometimes they didn't work out, and you'd be just, you know, especially if you're new. And I remember just having a lot of altcoins that, you know, oh, I tried that trade setup, but I guess I'm stuck with these for a while, and that just kind of grew. So you hear about the ones that work out because, hey, 110% gains. Whoa, you know, but you never hear about the ones that, oh, well, better luck next time, you know. So it's really best just to learn how to do this yourself. Like And on the live shows and things like this, and this is what helped me, you see them do the TA, and you just go back, and when you're on your own charts, you just kind of do the same thing. Try to remember what they showed you, some of the little tricks, and just apply it yourself, and you just pick up on it. I would say the biggest thing when I joined the trading group that I was in, and I only stayed in about 6 months, that's really all it took. To help me get my mind around it. And then the rest of it, where I really learned was just watching the guy do screen shares, which is basically, he's doing the same kind of thing that I'm doing right now, just going over things and just talking about what he sees and this and that. And it just slowly started coming together. And that's what really made it click for me, was just watching kind of things like this, and with somebody who, takes some time to explain what's going on. And sometimes you can find people that will do that. And sometimes you just find people that just want to throw it whatever they see on the 5 or 15-minute chart and be done with it. It just varies. But watching and learning and then trying to replicate it on your own charts, that seemed to help most of all, aside from the videos that walk me through the Investopedia articles. But the patternsite.com, Thomas Bukowski, that's the guy. Because when you hear these pattern traders out there throwing out all the statistics and everything, it came from him. He's the one that did all the research. He's the one that went through it and actually did the statistics for this. And he's got the mind to do it because he's a software engineer. And you can tell that from his writing. He's very detailed on all this. He's measured everything to the T. He's got some good information at the pattern site. So I would let that be a textbook. All right, let me see what we got in chat again. While I'm trying to learn how to trade, I'm also trying to find traders to follow for the time being to make profit. Okay. There's some good ones out there, and there's some that are, I'm not trying to talk bad about anyone, but I see some sloppy information out there, and that's part of what motivated me to do this channel, because I know of at least one out there who's not really being honest about their experience, more like 2 years experience trying to claim 15, and I know this because they were in my group. But anyway, there are some good ones. Well, Natalie Bit Consensus is one that I would recommend, but her style is totally different from what I do. The trading group that I was in, I mean, if you're interested, wanted to know, is Crypto Revolution, Crypto Bitcoin Chris, and he has a YouTube channel. That's where I learned from. And it's a decent group. I mean, he lets you know, hey, this is, what he does. This is how he makes his money. He's not trying to claim to be a big professional trader, but what he teaches is fine. But if I can be of any help to you, hopefully I can save you that $1,500 a month or $1,500 a year or whatever they would charge. HBAR. I feel like I'm rushed to learn how to trade in the shortest amount of time because I think bull run will start in the next few months. No. Bull run, we may have another year of this slow sideways movement. I mean, honestly, if I'm looking up, that's where I've got my chats up on the screen up here. It probably looks crazy with me on camera. This will be a long, slow, drawn out process. And let's go to Bitcoin. Let's go up here to BLX. Is this the weekly? This is where we're at. All right. So this was November 2018, right? Where's our little measurement tool? Yeah, it didn't start picking up until April. That was several months. And I mean, here was July, and that kind of lines up with where we are. Hopefully we don't get this big dump to the bottom. But the bear market in 2018 from June started dropping down sideways like crazy, then dropped, and this went sideways again like crazy. But that was almost a whole year right there. So, I mean, we dropped down in June, you know, we could be looking July 23 before we finally start getting some of that real upward moving, you know, maybe around 30,000. You know, we may just go sideways for a very long time. Could drop down. It's a possibility. I think we've reached bottom. My indicators, I'm confident in them enough, but there's a possibility we could drop down further, and that'll just make it that much more, that much longer. Just seem like we get out of it, but that's just what they do. It's going to be sideways. So you've got plenty of time. I wouldn't worry about, you know, feeling rushed to learn all this. It's better if you actually take it slow. And you're asking about the Bitcoin halving. The halving should come in about 2024. And if I can move this chart around without drawing all over it. Get some of these lines off there. So 2024, about, put a little vertical line there. This vertical line should be about when the halving occurs. Actually, that's a little early. It should be around March. And it's not so much based on time as it is transactions, Bitcoin transactions. So I've been curious, as our adoption in Bitcoin grows, and the hash rate and everything increases, I'm wondering if this will shorten a little bit by a few months. And that's just what I'm kind of questioning. But we're kind of estimating around March or April 2024 when the next halving will be. And then within about 6 to 8 months after that, that's when the squeeze is really felt for price and quantity on the exchange. So we're looking probably about November of 2024 when things would just really start going crazy, if it sticks with the normal four-year cycle type thing. But, you know, we got all this time in here, and we could be riding this line up, which is what I want to see. I want to see us keep this line, and that should be what it does. But, you know, there's no telling. I mean, just to be honest, just got to be prepared for whatever. We could take a drop down to 12,000. I don't see it yet, but, you know, I always got to be prepared for that. But I wouldn't be in a rush to try to learn this. Take your time with it. And I'll tell you one thing that I do. Let me get on a chart. Let's go back to boring Bitcoin here. So I'm on the 1 minute. I'm on the 1 minute chart. Now I don't know if you got TradingView or if you have what paid version or anything that you might have. I don't think everybody has access to 1 minute. 5 minute may be the smallest on that. But I would like to get to, you know, I get to the smallest time frame that I can get to, and that's where I'll just practice. You know, I'll draw whatever patterns I can find. Like here I'm on the 1 minute and I'm seeing this should break up to the upside, and I'll just, you know, take my little measured move, play around, draw my little lines and everything, may check out what he says at the pattern site when he mentions a multiplier, you know, to use or whatever. And I'll just play things around, and then we'll see what happens. And here I'm on the 1 minute and it's trying to break out now, and it should break up to the upside and should come up to 20,000. Whoa. And so when you see the live guys and you wonder the real reason why they're using the smaller time frames, because it's more entertaining. It's easier. It's easier when you actually got some action on there. I mean, we could get down to the 5 second chart. Now that looks a lot more interesting. If you can do that, this would be a great place just to practice whatever stuff that you see. So we got support resistance flip happen just right there, and now it's starting to go up, breaking out our trend line, and ooh, boring Bitcoin starting to look a little exciting on the 5 second chart. Okay. Everybody has a different idea of Bitcoin bottom, ranging from 3K to 16K. What's my price point? I'm only going with what the charts are telling me, and so far it's told me that 17.6 thousand was the bottom. The pi cycle indicator is one indicator. I've got another indicator strategy that I use. I've made a video on it with moving averages when they cross at certain times. A lot of things have pointed that out to me. The first thing that clued me in was the Adam and Eve pattern that it made, and doing some back testing and everything, you find out that every Bitcoin bottom starts with an Adam and Eve pattern followed by a long drawn out sideways action. There's just lots of things that make me think that we've hit it. One of the things being these long wicks that keep pushing price up. We can never get back down. We haven't broken back below 18,000. We haven't come back down into the 17,000s at all over these past 6 months. Just that once when we had everything crash with all the bad news with Luna and Three Arrows and all that stuff. So there are a lot of buyers here. And my theory behind it is that, you know, $20,000 Bitcoin is a very good psychological point. It's also the point where a lot of the institutions came into the market in the bull cycle, when the bull cycle started back in 2020, right here at this same area where Michael Saylor came in, then also Tesla, buying in these areas. And that kicked off all the FOMO for the other institutions, because all it took was one big player to come in just to make it valid. And then like, we don't want to miss out. So they started buying in, and they bought in kind of high above 20,000. And I think that has a lot to do with what we see up here with this whole distribution in this area. And then again, you know, we really should have started going back into our bear market there. I think powers that be wanted to get another taste of this, drive prices up so they could get a little bit more profit and then drive things back down. But I think the scope of what they're trying to look at, I mean, the baseline that we're going to be looking at in a few years, $20,000 Bitcoin. That's, you know, a base bottom fair market value price for Bitcoin. So I think buying anywhere under $20,000 is good. And I'm really impressed that we're holding that so well right now. I hope we continue to do that. I'm kind of expecting a move back to the downside. But indicators are showing it's still got strength right now as far as Bitcoin goes. Oh, you created a TradingView account last night? Oh, great. Sweet. And you made it through with my video, because that was a rough video. Okay, good. It was really rough in those first early days. It's still kind of confusing now, but man, I had no idea how to do a video. All right, let's see. Does TA tell time frame? Because some people saying the bottom would be December 22, and a short pump and crash again in March 23, April 23, and start pumping in. Well, that's speculation. Does TA tell a time frame? Well, there was really only one trader who could actually do time frames. His name was W.D. Gann. He had a very elaborate system. And this was back in the day, and he died with that secret, but he actually predicted the actual 1929 crash, Wall Street crash, and what happened 3 years later, and some amazing things. He was really accurate, but he took that secret to the grave. So yeah, there's some way to do it, but are we doing it? I'm not seeing anybody do anything like that now. We're just kind of, there's something with Fibonacci's. You can do some time sequences with Fibonacci. Is an indicator over here that can kind of help you with some time frames, trend-based Fibonacci time. It's, I mean, not, you know, this is all really speculative, and even getting into the Fibonacci bubbles and things that they do. I'm going to, just as an easy answer, I'll say no. You've heard about Gann. Yeah, he was amazing. And it's very complicated stuff when I try to get into his stuff. I think he even used astrology to some degree, or planetary motion. He was pretty amazing. All right, CD, thank you for stopping by, man. Have fun in San Francisco. But okay, so to answer your question, they're saying the bottom will. Well, I think they're basing that actually on the 4-year cycle is what they're trying to do there, and that does kind of that fits. I mean, it's kind of what I just went over there, telling you. Am I on Bitcoin still? I think I'm on a different chart, but I can do it here. Yeah, because we do know that halving will come 2024. So market cycles, they just make an S curve, kind of like this. And so you market cycle high, and then you have the markdown period, which we're in, or possible bottom that we're out, and then we got the markup period. And so the halving usually comes right before this markup period. So we would say that this area that I got my cursor on right here would be that 2024, and we're like kind of right around here with that whole year or so, year and a half or so to go there. I'm telling you, it's going to be a long drawn out thing. Yeah, well, that's right. Actually, right on vertical. So that green line is actually the March part, March 2024. Let's see if I can actually draw this out. So we got our S curve coming down. And then we'll just do that same thing again, and it just depends on how high it goes. I'm actually starting to wonder if we'll make it above the 65 or much above that. If the institutions are in this, I think they're going to play their institutional games. So I don't know about these $100,000 quotes. But doing the S-curve type thing, that would kind of help you figure out some of the time frames. And when you got April, a crash again in March 23. Why would they think that? Oh, they're talking about, are they thinking about the dead cat mounts? You're going to hear a lot of people speculating, but I mean, yeah, there could be a point we come up to this area right here, retest that. It's, there's going to be a point about 28,000 and then up here right around 38,000. And some people think we'll come up there and then we'll do what's called basically a dead cat bounce. And then, we can come down lower. And that sounds like it might be what they're hinting at with the time frames that you gave me there. Because that would come, me just drawing it out and going to the peak of just what I drew is about March 23. And starting to come down and start pumping again in early summer 23. Well, I don't. So I don't know. I guess I'd have to look at their analysis, but I mean, nobody knows what it's going to do exactly. We can only just go by day and kind of predict on past cycles and things like that. But I wouldn't put in, too much faith in anyone who actually has, a time frame. We can guesstimate, but you really just have to take this day by day and week by week. Okay. All right. Well, Lucy, is there anything else that you want to talk about, or any other coins that you want to take a look at? I've got a few minutes that we can do that. Try to clean up my charts here. But I tried to cover the coins that somebody had asked about. And I guess the only thing that I haven't done is Quant. So I'm going to take a quick look at that. Goodness gracious, that's a messy chart. Okay. So with Quant, I was looking at this trend line. which we've just now broke below. So we've broken market structure. So what does that mean? That means there's a good chance that we will come back down to this level about $156 or lower. Now, a shortcut way that we could do this, take a measured move from there. And we could possibly be coming back down to 112 possibility. If we break back up into this trend line, we're looking good though. So this candle could actually turn back into a wick. This candle could actually turn back into a wick, look something like this instead of closing. If it closes like this, then we definitely have some more downward action. And we would be looking at coming back to at least this area, and that does make sense. That's the breakout of this point, about $152 if we continue downward. And that's where I would look for a bounce at the 618. If we get that, things are looking good. And Ichimoku's got some green there, so we might see that. If it goes below that, then I'm looking for more downside. HBAR. I have not looked at that in a while. That is one of my holds. All right, last time I looked at it, bullish structure there, had a measured move, came down, hit the measured move, so that TA worked out beautifully. This was irrelevant, although cool little thing about trend lines is that they keep going on forever, and if you just draw them out, you can see some confluence. Touching them from the original point to, you can just play around, go from wick to body, and you'll start seeing a lot of confluence. And they can help you pinpoint some prices at times too. Actually, I'm going to keep that one there for a little while because I think that points to the possibility of us coming back up to this area right here, about 7 cents. Okay. That's always a good sign when we see that green dot on market cipher. That will give us a little bit of upswing there. VWAP starting to come up. Stochastics are starting to come up. So it's looking bullish on the daily. Let's see what we got here for divergence. Crypto Chester, how you doing? Great to see you here. I'm trying to feel my way for this live stuff. It's a little bit out of my comfort zone here. So trying some new things, but thanks for stopping by. So I'm not seeing any divergence there. We're still going up in the RSI there. That's one thing I look for, Lucy, is divergence. When you're starting to look at your trend lines, that's one of the best clues that you can get whether a move is going to happen. So that's definitely something I always try to look for. Actually, let me get rid of that. So we are looking, I mean, it's got some bullish signs on the daily. I want to see us get above this 618 level, that 6 cents, just a little over 6 cents there. Yeah, it's just right at 6. Need to hold that. I would feel a lot better about that because we are at a spot. If we don't make it, it could come back down and start retesting some of these other areas, maybe even back down to, 5.5 cents in that area. But it's showing some signs that it wants to make a little bit of a move up. So let's go down to some smaller time frames and see what we got there. That's showing some signs to make it up there too. Stochastics running a little bit high. just a wee bit of bearish divergence there. All right. All right, so Lucy, that bearish divergence, and that's why I say always look for that. That's, you can pretty much bet that that's going to mean we're going to get a little bit downward action. Now it is a little bit slight, but you know, usually we'll come down at least maybe retest this trend line. So we may be coming back down to, you know, just a little bit below the 6 cent mark. And that coincides with the 618 too. So that's what I'm going to be suggesting happen, that we come back down and trust this trend line, because it does fall in the Fibonacci for this particular move. And that should be enough by that time it gets there to propel us up. The daily is looking good. So the other indicators, other time frames just kind of have to catch up with that, in my opinion. And see if I can get some other targets here. If you're looking for a take profit target, I would be looking at, you know, 6.3 cents, 0.06325, around that area. If you're looking for a place to take profit, because I would expect it gets up here, a lot of people will start shorting, and, you know, probably come back down to the bottom of the trend line or further, just depending. Now we are in a pattern here. Symmetrical triangle, and, you know, like I said, they're not my favorite ones to trade because they can go a little bit everywhere. They can start breaking out on one side, and before you know it, on the other side, and just, they can do some pretty wild things. So they're not one that I trust to take, you know, a break up to the targeted move as much as I do falling wedge or something like that. But that's what I'm seeing on the short term. Maybe getting up to, wow, that just doesn't seem like a big jump when you're talking about 5 cents to 6 cents, does it? But, you know, going up a little bit less than a penny, probably about 6 cents. In the long term, you know, I mean, this is one that I'm definitely stacking and holding, the ISO 20022 coins. So I do have a little bag of that going. One thing I do like about it, though, is that it does have this kind of rounding bottom going on. That's always a good sign in my book, because that can lead to a parabolic move over time. And what I like to do, if I see a rounding bottom and I can see a falling wedge, I wait for that breakout. And those are usually very good moves. So after a confirmed breakout, that's when I would definitely look at getting in, and I would expect the most upward motion after that. But that's a pattern formation that I have to keep my eye out for, and this one just hasn't made it up to that point yet. Do you go through coin market list or look at whale alerts, or you just trade with the coins that I have? Lately, me personally, I just kind of trade with the coins that I have. I've actually probably have far too many altcoins than I should have spread across. I'm staying heavy into Bitcoin and heavy into Ethereum. So that's the bulk of my portfolio, aside from the cash. And then I've got them scattered into other altcoins. Let me go off. What are some of them that I've accumulated? Polkadot is a big one. HBAR. I've got a few that I keep on crypto.com. They're ERC20 tokens, which cost money to move, so they get to park there for a little while. But yeah, I'm accumulating Sandbox, Thorchain, of course, Chainlink, and Quant. Got some Aave. So those are some of my bigger positions as far as altcoins go. And then I've got a lot just sprinkled out in some of these others that I'm planning on either making moon bags. That's the game plan, to get some moon bags as much as I can, and just exit and profit on some of these other ones and turn it into Bitcoin. And let me... But now when I'm looking for something, now I like to use Crypto Bubbles. That's a cool little place to go to kind of get a feel for the market, because you can check out what's hot for the day, and you can sort it to list by prices or by percentage, whether it's up or down. So that's a good feel. And you can set it for the top 100 or go by exchange. You know, if I want to see some of the lower cap coins and see what they're doing, I can do that. So that's a good spot. I did find a new place the other day, and do I have it up here? Coin Codex. And just happened to stumble across that, but I kind of like it because it gives you a lot of cool information. They've got a little bit more research type information, more detailed research type information than, say, CoinMarket or CoinGecko. But I've been playing around with this and getting, I think they got some AI stuff going on here, but that's where I've been, that's what I've been checking out recently. So you can kind of list all the coins here, but it gives you a lot more information. So I just discovered this a few days ago, still checking that out. But yeah, I do use CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap just to kind of look at things. But mostly, I just keep an eye on the ones that I'm trading. I'm mostly, for this bear market, I'm accumulating mostly like layer ones and staking coins, things like that. And then, you know, I've also got some things going on with Atom, Cosmos, and the Osmosis DEX. And it's mostly because, and that's my Road Dog thing, this is my little baby account. When I found out about this, I sent $500 over. This was like June 2021. And even through everything it's went through and all the profit that I took out, I'm still at $500 on that. And I've taken things out. I've put it into the pools. But the airdrops and everything that you get just by holding Osmosis and holding Atom and Juno token, man, because I've got an airdrop, I've got another account, and it's a lot bigger than this one. And I even had a bunch of it into Luna, which, you know, tanked. That was about a good $5,000 or $6,000 gone, but it was free money, so I'm not out. It's worth holding Atom and staking it. I'll just say that, because the airdrops are just crazy. You just qualify for airdrops, and some of them are pretty good. Hamilton Crypto, hey, nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, Crypto Bubbles is kind of cool, and it's also linked to, I think they do CoinMarketCap now, so you can, whatever you're on, you can click on it, and I think at some point it actually takes you. Oh, you can, yeah, actually go to the website there. But that's one of my little favorites, to kind of keep an eye on things. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up, but I thank you so much for stopping by. Crypto Chester, thank you so much for stopping by. Hamilton of Crypto, thank you. Lucy, as always, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to see your comments and questions and everything, Lucy. All right. Until next time, my name is Lane, your Crypto Road Dog, signing off.